Okay, hopefully you're outside right now, enjoying the good weather and not watching the video. You can always watch it in the evening. So what am I doing here? Okay, here we go. So 721. Let's just keep this very simple and very. So it's a subtraction problem, right? So you have two choices. If you are completely okay with this, and you understand that when subtracting a negative, you're really adding a positive number. You can just or if it's easier for you to change the problem to this, right? We're changing the second added to its additive inverse, so this becomes that, and the subtraction becomes addition. So either way you look at the problem and the same way. So 74 and 64 is 138. Just lower that a little bit, and then that's it. Circle all situations that result in a value of 0. Going up 24 floors and then going down 727 floors, you'll be underground, so that's not 0. Temperature is 8 and then increases by 9. Oh, wait, goes to 0. Getting 80 on a test and doing test corrections to get half the points back doesn't even make sense. Spending 4,500, renovating the bathroom, which is pretty much what I paid for mine, and then winning 4,400 on a lotto ticket, and that never happened. So, but this definitely, if you're lucky enough to have that happen to you, gets you back to 0. You spend some money and you earn it back. Although you probably have to pay taxes on this, but that's besides the point. Put the following order from least to greatest. Okay, so I know you didn't do too many of these, but it's because it's pretty much obvious. So one of the things you can do to help yourself is put them on the number line. So you don't have to put all the dashes, but 12 is about here. Negative 5 is about here. Negative 38, and this is just negative 38, and this is negative 39, and this is negative 40. And as you can tell, they are in order from least to greatest, starting from the left and going that way. All right, so you also can notice that the number on the right is always the greater number, right? Negative 39 is greater than negative 40, negative 38 is greater than negative 39, negative 5 is greater than 38, 0 is greater than negative 5, and 12 is greater than 0. So the number, if you ever get confused, put two numbers on number line, and then if you have to decide to see which one is greater, just look at the number on the right. Okay. Negative 15 is greater than which sums? And we'll actually have to do all these, right? Okay, so we want something that's greater. So the answer is going to have to be something like negative 14.99 and higher. So first one, positive, negative, and positive. We're adding, so I know it is going to be a negative answer. So it looks like negative 18. No, negative 20. Wait. I did negative 22. So that's definitely not it. So oh, sorry. Ignore everything I said, because we want negative 15 is greater than which sum. So here's 0, here's negative 15. So any answer that falls in this area, on this side of negative 15, that's what we want, right? Because we want negative 15 to be greater. So in the first one, the answer was negative 22. So negative 15 is definitely greater than negative 2, so that works. Negative 8 minus 7 is equal to negative 15, and they're both equal, so that's a no. Negative 28 minus negative 31, and again, we're subtracting a negative, which means subtracting a, a positive integer, which means we're actually adding a negative. So that becomes actually negative 24 plus negative 31, right? So two negatives, you're going to move even further to the left. That's going to give us negative 54, somewhere over here. So that's definitely part. So negative 15 is definitely greater than negative 54. So that's one we want. So the first one, the third one. And negative 7 plus negative 9 is negative 16. And negative 16 is right over here. And negative 15 is definitely greater than negative 16. So first, third, and fourth are what you would be looking for. What integers, when divided, gives you a positive quotient? Well, in order to do that, you have to be a positive divided by positive will give you a positive quotient. A negative divided by a negative quotient. A negative divided by a negative will also give you a negative quotient. Positive quotient, sorry. A negative divided by a negative will also give you a positive quotient. So those are the integers that I am looking for, right? Two positives or two negatives being divided. Find the difference. Again, negative 29 plus 17 equals negative something, 312. Yeah, negative 12. Okay, very simple. Which expression has the least value? Careful here. When it says least value, so you want the number that's furthest to the left on the number line. That's going to be your least value. This is negative 25. So the easy ones first. It's going to be negative 0 carried to negative 50. There are more negatives here. There's also going to be a negative number. So that's going to be 19, 29. Yeah, 29. And then 21 minus 56 is 21 plus negative 56, which equals negative 25 as well. So out of the four numbers, which one is furthest to the left is this guy. So this one has the smallest value. Okay. Sam lost negative 25, so he's negative 25 down, right? Lost $9 on soccer bet, plus he lost another 9. And lost another 30 to a friend. That sounds like me. Represent the situation as an arithmetic sum, which is what I did, and then evaluate. So how much did you lose in all the whole day? Negative $54. Okay, so this is what you have to do first. Represent it as a sum. Okay, and then find the total. Write the decimal equivalent. So this one is just, remember I told you I don't know why. This is part of the unit, but 7 divided by 15, 0, 0, 5, 6, 4, 5. No, 5 is too much. 4, which is 60. 10 left over, bring another 0 down. 7, no, too much. 6 is 90. 10 left over again, and now you can see that it's going to be 6 again. So it's going to be 6, 6, 6, 6, 6 forever and ever. And this is what I'm looking for. 0.46 was a bar notation on top of the 6 because that's the repeating digits. 9, no 10. Wow, really? Well, what concerns me is, do you know that this answer is positive or negative? Well, it's a negative divided by a positive. The integers are different signs, right? So it's a negative and negative 17. Okay. Evaluate the expression. Ooh. This should give you a little memory of that challenge of those 4 levels we did in class. So let's do this. And I would do exponents first. So this is negative 9. So it's negative 9 to the second power. Not just 9, but negative 9, because negative 9 is in parentheses. So that's give us 81. Minus 2 multiplied. Let's just wait a little bit. And negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. So now I have 81 minus 2 times negative 5. I will do the multiplication first. So let me write that down over here. 81 minus 2 times negative 5. Let's take care of the multiplication. And these two from here to here. So it's 2 times negative 5, which is negative 10. I'm subtracting a negative, which is the same thing as adding. It's additive inverse, which is 10. Final answer, 91. Which one has the greatest value? Okay, so this is backward from the previous one. So this is negative 18. This is negative 18 again. This is negative 20. And this is negative 4. Which of these 4 numbers furthest to the right on the number line? Negative 4. Furthest to the right, not close to 0, furthest to the right. Okay. Negative 5 times 6 divided by negative 10, please. Order of operations, left to right, between division and multiplication. This one is multiplication because it came first as you read from left to right. So negative 5 times 6 is negative 30, divided by negative 10, and you get 3. This one's a tricky question, 14, so be careful. Need to put that bonus word, right? Yeah, I need to put the bonus. Well, I can put it over there. I think what? Where am I? 14. Which expression can you use to find the average, the change, sorry, in elevation if you're going from 12 feet underwater? So I'm going to use a, so I'm here, and I'm going to the top of the building. So here's a surface, right? That's 0. There's 0 there. And from somehow, maybe I'm in the sewers, and I'm negative 12, and I have to go all the way to the top. What is the change? The change in elevation. So remember, change. Well, let's not do the change equals. So change actually would be final minus start in this case, right? But before I even go there, let's just use our number line here. So I'm negative 12. I have to climb all the way to the top of the building. Well, let's do it in parts. I'm negative 12 and I have to, let's divide into two parts. Let's say I have to go to the surface first, right? Actually, I have to go through that, to the ground, take the stairs, and get up on the surface. So from negative 12 to 0, maybe 12 feet. Yeah, 12 feet. So I travel 12 feet. And then I have to travel from the surface all the way to the top of the building, which is another 245 feet. Just by doing this, we know that our answer is going to be the sum of these two, right? The absolute value, the distance here and the distance here. So we can write it as the absolute value of negative 12 plus the absolute value of negative 245, right? And that's going to give us something. 12 plus 245, which is 257. So a total of 257. Even if you didn't write it like this, and you just added the sum over here, you know that it has to be 257. So look for these and see which one actually gives you a value of 257. Okay. Well, definitely not this, right? Because it's negative 12 plus negative 245. Although it gives you 257, it's not positive. It's going to give you negative 257. And that's not it, because it's not a negative change. It was a positive change. So that's garbage. Absolute value of negative 12 is 12. Minus 245. That's going to give us a negative 233, I think. Also a no. That's a no. Negative 12 minus 245 absolute value. So let's do that. So negative 12 plus negative 245. Remember, we have to take the absolute value of that last. Negative 12 plus negative 45. 245 is negative 57. Now I take the absolute value, and that gives me 257. So that gives me, looks like what I had here before, right? So that matches. So that's definitely my answer, but just in case, let's do the last one. The last one says minus 12 minus the absolute value of negative 245, and the absolute value of 245, negative 245 is 245. And this doesn't look like it's going to give me a positive answer. And this actually looks like the first question here. So the only one that matches is that one. A skier descends at a rate of 6 feet per second. What is the change in elevation after 1 minute? Well, 6 feet per second, there's 60 seconds. So in 60 seconds, it's going to travel, right? It's going down, so it's negative 6 feet. The elevation is going to be lower and lower and lower and lower, right? You're up in the mountain, so you're going to be descending. And after 1 minute, the change is negative 360 feet. So wherever he was, subtract this, and that gives you his new location. Mr. Cho owes the bank 120 in there. That's how much I owe. Then he borrows money to buy 12 coffees at $1.25 each for all the math teachers. How much does he owe now? Well, plus, and I'm going to borrow money, so let's find out what 12 times 125 is. How do I borrow money to buy coffee? 10, 5, 2, 125. It looks like I borrow $15. So plus another $15, right? Because that's how much the coffee is going to cost. So how much do I owe now? Negative 135. That's just great. 17. Mr. Clark parked his car on the 7th floor in the ground. He went up 19 floors. At lunch, he goes down 8 floors, and then he decides to go. Then they decide to go to a restaurant that is located 6 floors down. On what floor is the restaurant? Oh my God. Okay, so we can do this by representing it. You know, we can do this as let's write the expression, or you can do drawings. Let's do the expression. So 7th floor, underground. So this is where I am. And then plus, I know it's a plus because, well, we're using plus to begin addition as a sum. We're going to express this expression as an arithmetic sum. So plus, the second thing I do, I go up 19. So that's definitely plus a positive integer. At lunch, he goes down to the 8th floor. So plus, I'm going to go down, so that represented by a negative integer to meet his girlfriend. What did I say, girlfriend? I'll tell my wife. And then from there, wherever I am, we decide to go 6 more floors down. So what floor is the restaurant? -7 plus 19, that would put me, these two would put me on the 12th floor, so that's where my office is. I go down, I'm gonna go -8 floors down, so on the 4th floor, that's where my girlfriend is. And then from where my girlfriend's office is, which is on the 4th floor, we go down another 6 floors, and that puts us on the -2nd floor, or 2 floors underground, and that's where all the restaurants are. Okay, on the -2nd floor. You can definitely use a drawing and just go up and down and figure it out that way, or you can do it this way as well. Death Valley is located at 286 feet below sea level. That's a fact. So here's a sea, Death Valley. It's all the way here. So I'm going to write -286. Mount Rushmore's elevation is 5,725. So here's a mountain, with all the presidents. So, and that's the top. It's 5,725. The very top. What is the difference in elevation? And again, here is 0. Difference in elevation. Again, I think it's better for you to think about distance, right? Into 2 parts. So we want to find, so if you want to go from here to here, from the top of the mountain to the bottom of Death Valley, what would be the distance traveled? So I would rather you think in terms of distance, right? So you talk about distance, talk about absolute value. So the absolute value, the distance between the top of the mountain to 0, plus the absolute value of Death Valley, which is the distance from Death Valley to bottom up to 0, which is -286. We add both distances, you've got 5,725 plus the absolute value here of -286, which is just 286. And you add those up and you get some number that I don't know. 11, 11, 10, 6,011 feet separates both of 6,011 feet separates both locations. 19. Carlo was playing a video game. His character had an energy level of 3,000. Okay. Over the next 15 seconds, he was attacked by a large group of monsters, and his energy level dropped to 0. What was the change in energy for each second? So this one is right. So over the next 15 seconds, he was attacked, and he dropped to 0. So what was the change in energy? The change in that, well, I'm going to put a subtraction sign because 3,000. Alexa, what's 3,000 divided by 15?
3,000 divided by 15 is 200.
So that was his change in energy. Every 1 second, he dropped 200, what do you call that, energy level. Okay? 20 points in energy level. That was his change. Time for me to put up our first bonus word this year. And it's going to be, it's going to be this company's name. And they just launched in Kentucky Fried Chicken in Atlanta. They tried this product out, and what do you call it? Chickenless chicken flavor. What do you call it? Boneless chicken? So not chickenless, but a totally vegetable-based product that sort of mimics the flavor of the Kentucky Fried Chicken, boneless, whatever they have there. What's that called? Tender finger something that they sell. Anyways, that's the name of the company. They already have, what do you call it, products out there. What do you call it? Burger King has that Impossible Burger where the burger is completely vegetable based. And so I think Beyond Meat, I just saw the article, they had that. So that's your bonus word. 20, which expression has the least value? So again, so the expressions are a little bit longer. Let's do the easy one here. -4, so careful, very careful here. The exponent is to the 4, so that minus sign is kind of, just leave it on the side for a second. Change 4 to the second to 16, minus, and now this is completely different. This affects everybody who's inside, which is -4. So -4 times -4 gives you 16. So this question, rewritten in standard form without the exponent, looks like this. Right? So if I change that, so this becomes this, which eventually becomes this. So we have negative 32 on that one. Let's do the second one. So again, absolute value, negative 3 to the third power is, again, it affects everybody. So it's negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, which gives you negative 27. Minus 2, absolute value, and then the minus 2 minus the absolute value of 24 divided by 2 to the second power, which is 2 to the 24 divided by 2 to the second power is 4. So I just took care of the exponents. The first absolute value sign here has negative 29 minus 24 divided by 4 is 6. That's what we have. Let's take the absolute value. That's 29 minus 6. This one gives me 23. We want the least value, so this one is winning so far. Last one, so it's negative 2 times the absolute value of this whole expression inside. So negative 2. That's, again, not negative 5 to the second power, but just 5 to the second power. So it's a minus, and 5 to the second power is 25. Minus 16 divided by negative 4. Take the absolute value. So let's, that negative 2 is just hanging outside right now. So let's do it. The inside, I get negative 25 minus, and then 16 minus negative 4 is negative 4. Right? So negative 2 and negative 25, I'm going to change that to plus 4, right? Change it to addition problem. Negative 2 on the outside, absolute value. Negative 25 plus 4 is negative 19. Don't multiply yet. Negative 2 times, what's the absolute value? Negative 19, it's 19. And 2 times 19 is negative 38. So the one that has the least value is this expression right here. Right, because it's furthest to the left. The average temperature in, find the mean. Ugh, yuck. So we have to add all these numbers. Negative 23 plus, negative 23 plus 18 is negative 5. Then, so I took care of these two. Now I'm going to do the 7. So plus positive 7, and that's going to give us positive 2. So I'm here. And then I take that 2 and add to negative 19. That's going to give me negative 17. And then finally, I'm going to add the negative 9. So negative 17 plus negative 9 gives me negative 26. Now I'm supposed to find the mean, so now I got to divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So negative 26 divided by 5. It's going to be a negative answer. And 25, sorry, 10. Sorry, 10, 10, so 5.2. Negative 5.2. Change the fractions to decimals. Yuck. All right, so I'm going to just do a couple. But then I'm going to ask Alexa. Well, fine, I'll do it. Well, 14 can't go into 9, so that's a 6. Looks like 4, 84. And then we're going to have 6 left over. Bring another 0 down. That's going to be a 4, which is 56. We have 4 left over. Bring another 0 down. Let's see how far I can go. Hopefully not too far. That's going to be a 3. No, it's going to be a 2, which is 28. It's going to be 12 left over. Yuck. Okay, 0. 7. 8. Looks like an 8. 2, 3, 1, 12. And I'm going to have 8 left over. Do I have an 8 left over yet? No. Hang on a second. Bring another 0 down. And 14 goes into 85 5 times. Right, 5 times 70. So that's going to be 70 left over. All right, I'm going to stop. Since I don't want to go any further. 5. So for this question, I would probably ask it to round to the nearest hundredths, which means he would have at least have to gone up to the third digit here. So 0.642 round to the nearest hundredth is just 0.64. Okay, and this is not equal, but sorry. The answer to this one would be approximate 0.64. Okay, nothing repeats. Nothing that I found repeating because I didn't go too far. All right, 1 over 8. 1 divided by 8. 0, 0, 0. What is that? 1, 8. 2, 0, 2, 16. 4, 0, 5. Oh, this one worked out. 0.125. That was nice. 11 and 15. Yay. 15, 0, so that's 6, 7, 7, 35. 7, 35 goes 3, 105. That worked. 110, that's a 50, 0, 3, 4, 3 times, which is 45. 50 left over again, yes. And then we're going to go 3 again. So this one is going to be Z because the 3 is going to obviously repeat and repeat and repeat. We're going to write 0.73 was a bar notation on top of the 3, by the way. Okay, so that's the answer to C. 12 divided by 25. Hopefully that's nice and easy too. No, 0 and 4 times, which is 100. Oh, this one's going to work nicely. 20 left over, bring a 0 down, and that's just going to be 8. That's going to give us 0.48. So 12 or 25 is 0.48. Yay, bouncing back down. 23, the average temperature on Mars is negative 63. Really? That's fact, by the way, average temperature. So it's pretty cold. And the average temperature in Lima, which you by now know, it's the capital of Peru. You can thank Mr. Sanchez for that. 0, and this is 17. So what is the difference in temperature? Okay, the difference in temperature, again, we're not traveling. It's not like we're, so here's the problem with this question. The problem with this question, the way stated, is it's like we're not traveling from Mars to Peru. You know, we're not like Mars is negative 63 and we're going to Peru, Lima, which is 17. What was the change in temperature? Which obviously it's a positive change, right? Because it got warmer. Or we were in Lima at 17 degrees Celsius and we went to Mars. Which was negative 63. What was the change in temperature? Obviously, in this case, the change in temperature was negative. So I didn't like the way this question was, it's worded. So I'd rather much say, what is the change in temperature if you had gone from one to the other? But the change in temperature, regardless, is if you, again, this is no different like the distance. What's the distance between these 2 points? One underground, one above ground. So again, the absolute value here, the distance is 63. The distance here is 17. So the total distance or the total change is 80 degrees. So the difference in temperature is 80 degrees. So I guess I'll write the difference in temperature is 80 degrees. Okay. Evaluate each expression. Yikes. Okay, so can I move this? No. Alright, so I'll just leave it as it is. So first one, again, I'm going to take this and write over here. It's negative 3 to the third power is 27. Remember that this is only affecting this little guy over here. Minus 12 minus 22 is the same thing as 12 plus negative 22, which I'll write. And then minus, and again, in here, it's negative 23 times negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3, which is negative 27. Right, and I like to put that in parentheses. Let's take care of these two guys here. 12 plus negative 22 is going to be a negative number, which is going to be 10. Minus negative 27. Negative 27 minus, what's the absolute value of negative 10 here? The absolute value of negative 10 is 10, and then minus negative 27. So we have this expression. Let's take care of these guys. Negative 27 plus negative 10, which is going to give me negative 37, right? And then let me connect to the rest here, the second half, which is minus negative 27. And this becomes negative 37 plus the added inverse of negative 27, which is 27. There are more negatives, so my answer is going to be negative 10. B, okay, negative 12 minus 4, and then it's negative 2 to the fourth power, so it's negative 2 times itself 4 times, so I know it's going to be a positive number, right? Because when there's an even numbers. So it's negative 2, 4, 8, 16, so that's going to be times 16 plus, I'm going to multiply these two now because doing it now it's not going to change anything, so plus 4 times negative 11 is negative 44. So now I get negative 12 minus, let's multiply these two, which is going to give me 64. I don't know, is that right? Yes. Plus negative 44. Let's take care of these two. Negative 12 plus negative 64 is going to give me negative plus a negative will always be a negative, and that's going to give me 87, 86. And then plus this other negative, which is going to go even further to the left, another negative number, and that's going to be 120. Last one, so it's 3 times the absolute value of that whole thing inside. Let's find out what that is. 2 to the third power is just 8. So 3 times the absolute value. So 12 minus, so we got to do division first. So that becomes 12 minus 8 divided by 8 is just 1. 3 times 12 minus 1 is 11, the absolute value of 11. So it's going to be 11, so that eventually becomes this, which is 33. 25. An integer raised to an even power. Ugh. Coffee. An integer raised to an even power will always be positive. Well, here's an integer, a positive integer. If I raise that to 6, or to 8, or to 4, or to 264, which is an even power, would that be positive? Yes, it will always be positive. What if I take a negative number? Negative 3 to the 6. That give me a positive answer? Yes. Negative 3 to the 1,280th power. That give me a positive answer? Yes. So, just by trying it out, this will be, it's true. It's always true. A negative minus a negative is sometimes negative. Negative 1 minus 5 is the same thing as negative 1 plus negative 5, right? So we're adding two negatives, right? If you understand that subtracting a positive integer is the same thing as adding a negative, if you understand that, and you can now change that to make it easier for you to imagine or visualize, you're adding two negatives, which means you're always going to have a negative answer, and you'll always be going further to the left. So a negative plus a negative is always a negative, not sometimes. So this is false. Because it says sometimes, no, that statement is false. It should have been always negative. And on the number line, the number on the left always has a greater value. Well, pick two numbers, 5 and 6. The number on the left has a greater value. Is this number greater than 6? No. And you can try with negative numbers, or negative 8 and negative 1. Which one has a bigger value? Negative 1. The number, this actually, the last one also should have been not on the left, but on the right has always the greater value. So this is also false. Substitute. No. Let's go. So let's substitute. First one, it's negative. I can do this because I have an eraser. Substitute means these. Take that, and replace it with the value. So minus, and a is negative 3, so I'm going to put negative 3. Exactly where the a was. And b is negative 4, so exactly where the b was. That's what substituting is. So this minus sign, so this power here, this second power, affects this, not this minus sign here. It's going to just hang out there for a little bit. Let's do negative 3 to the second power, which is 9. And then, right? And then finally minus, and again, negative 4 is inside the parentheses, so that whole thing is to the second power. Negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Negative 9 plus, right, change to addition, plus negative 16, and that gives you negative 25. So the main thing is that exponents, just being careful who you're raising it. So C is 8, absolute value negative 10 minus A, which is negative 3, times B, which is negative 4. That's what it says, absolute value. 8 minus 10, and then let's take care of these two first. So let me underline. So I'm taking care of this 2. Negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12. And this becomes negative 10 plus the additive inverse of 12, which is negative 12. So 8 times, and negative 10 plus negative 12 is negative 22. Now I can take the absolute value, and the absolute value of negative 22 is 22. And that gives us, I have no idea, 6, 16, 176. positive. Okay. B cubed. B cubed, it's negative 4 to the third power, minus A, which is negative 3, times B, which is negative 4, times C, which is just 8. Take care of these guys first. Negative 4 times negative 4 times negative 4. It's an odd power with a negative base, so that's going to give me a negative number. So it's negative 64. Minus, and let's multiply these three guys over here. Well, negative and negative is positive, so 3 times 4 is 12, and 12 times 8 is 96, so that's what I have. So this whole thing over here is 96. I have a negative minus a positive, so negative 64 plus negative 96, right? That's what it becomes. And that's going to give us negative 160. And that looks like the answer. So that is your review for 21. Look at it. And hopefully you guys get to see this. All right, that's it.